Welcome to the Emisarios Unidos de Luz channel. If you enjoy this near-death experience story, consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel.
Now let's start with the story. I had a heart condition that caused me to experience arrhythmias.
One morning in church, when I began to feel discomfort in my chest, I retreated to the vestry to lie down. Soon after closing my eyes, however, I suffered a fatal heart attack. I then began to separate from my body, but rather than simply floating upward, the experience was similar to climbing a rope to escape a marsh. Suddenly, I was near the ceiling, looking down upon what I had considered to be me until that moment. As I wondered what I essentially was to be looking down upon my lifeless body, I realized I could see through walls to be able to observe the prayer session led by monks taking place in the church. As I watched them pray, I was in awe of the sincerity and devotion they embodied, feeling the depth of their heartfelt prayers. As I stared down at my body, I came to accept that I had died, and at that moment of my realization, I shot upward through the ceiling and into space.
Looking upon the earth from my vantage point in space, I watched as fire ravaged Northern California.
In my spirit body, the fires seemed strange and surreal, almost as if I were watching a game being played. Looking down at the west coast of the US from above, I focused my perception on the city of San Francisco, connecting with its denizens so deeply and intimately that I could feel their sorrow, their joy, and everything else they experienced. As my attention was drawn by a higher energy, I ascended to a point above the earth where I could see the entire world sparkling like a diamond crystal, reflecting multiple colors. I sensed very deeply that the earth is a breathing, living being, emitting a somewhat unnatural luminosity yet embodying an ancient and seemingly timeless brilliance. I could also feel how the energy radiated by the earth was part of an ancient technology fused with the ancient deity of the world we call Earth. As I gravitated to a distant point in space, I could see the entire spiral of our galaxy and even the whole universe from the vantage point of the white expanse I suddenly found myself enveloped in.
Immersed in the ambience of a gold-speckled white mist, I saw a light orb radiating golden light, and as I basked in the radiance of that resplendent form, I shed the layers of illusion surrounding self-perception, my consciousness drawing into my core.
Merging with my essence, my form transformed, and I became an orb of radiant blue light. As the golden orb infused me with the light of pure, unconditional love, a boundless love transcending space and time, I experienced bliss as my blue light orb body assimilated the divine love. In oneness with essence, my life on earth felt like a distant memory, a fleeting and inconsequential experience or even a dream, yet whose dreamer was an entity of inexpressible magnificence and significance. In my light body form, I saw many other spheres of light of a variety of colors whose harmony of activity seemed as though they were creating the most beautiful symphonic oeuvre. In that realm beyond space and time, the entirety of creation collapsed to nothing within me, yet paradoxically, nothing was everything, the eternal totality that always was, always is, and always will be. In that realm, I saw another blue sphere of consciousness that I recognized as a soul I have known forever, a soulmate, as it were. With that being, I felt a bond so profound that no words or comparisons could come close to expressing its depth, the nature of the bond, or how ancient our connection was.
When that sphere approached me, it showed me through a series of images a wheel with the earth as a point of eternity at the hub of that wheel.
I saw that all the events of the past, present, and future on earth intersected and interacted with each other, and in that oneness of time, space, and matter, there was no inherent distinction between anything in any moment in time. I saw all the events of the past, present, and future, and when I focused my perception more closely upon the wheel, I saw the various empires that had dominated at different stages throughout history, one such empire being the Roman Empire. Beyond that time, I saw the Middle Ages, with the kings, queens, and the powerful rulers of those eras. I remember laughing as I watched their activity because, however significant or pivotal they imagined their power and position to be, or however grand and important they regarded themselves, their lives were nothing more than a flight of fancy from the perspective of essence. As I looked at the wheel, I saw a future in which the world went to war in the aftermath of a monumental stock market crash. In that future, I watched as planes bombed cities and complete chaos unfolded. In other scenes of the future, I saw the entire northeast coast of the US destroyed by a wall of water that reached as far as Pennsylvania. I didn't know what caused such a calamity, but that vision was the most profound prophecy revealed to me. In the distant future, I saw people working with energy to heal and with sound vibration to create visual art. I saw technology advance to the point where people could transfer their consciousness from one body to another, and amongst those advances, I saw people being placed in deep sleep so they could leave their bodies and be reborn in the past. In the distant future, I saw a total solar eclipse causing upheaval for those who lived in the zone of totality. After I was shown those prophetic images, the blue orb left my presence, and I turned my attention back to the light itself. I pleaded and begged the light to permit me to stay, but the light would not allow it, which hurt deeply because I didn't want to leave its presence.
I was then transformed back into my subtle body before traveling back to my physical body. I remember slamming back into my physical body and struggling to breathe again.
Back in my body, I still felt unwell, and when I looked in the mirror, I appeared as white as a ghost, with bags under my eyes.
It was at that moment that I realized I had actually died that morning.
After my NDE, I no longer experienced problems with my heart, and I have since been more open to exploring the mysteries of life. I now know that we are eternal beings, and I know this as an absolute and undeniable fact.